Welcome to the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. I'm Adam Lang. We've talked recently about the gender pay gap and the fact that we need to be doing a lot more to improve female representation at the top end of business, the highly paid executive roles. The problem isn't helped by the fact that some of Australia's oldest business clubs are still refusing, in 2022, to allow women to join. In the last year or so, both the Australian Club in Melbourne and the Australian Club in Sydney voted against letting women become members. That is what their members wanted. But there is a new player on the business networking scene, and it may be providing some competition to the old world of men-only clubs. The Club of United Business, which is backed by businessman Mark Bouris, has more than 1,000 members with properties in Sydney and Melbourne and is looking at the path ahead. Any entrepreneur can join, regardless of gender. Daniel Hakim is the CEO and founder of the Club of United Business, and he's my guest this morning. Daniel, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Does it shock you that there are still clubs in Australia that are men only?
It's shocking to me, I guess. I just couldn't imagine why you would want that. It's certainly not what we wanted or what I wanted, and I'm sure most other people. And I guess that's why Club exists, and that's why it's been growing quite quickly.
So do you see those clubs as your competitors? Are you aiming to lure people from those clubs to your own or just build up a brand new base?
I honestly don't see them as competitors. No, we've started something completely new. We represent the modern face of Australian business and the diverse modern face of Australian business. And the people that want to join Club and the reasons they join also want that. They believe that a diverse community is a stronger community. And I mean, even just on the topic of gender, why would you not want some of these incredible businesswomen in your club? You know what I mean?
Fair question.
They have some of the coolest companies. I find their companies to be more creative and innovative. Well, I couldn't imagine why you wouldn't want them in your community. So, and honestly, it gives Club a big strength, the fact that we love all business owners and all entrepreneurs. And I mean, that's who I want to serve. And that's what we do.
You've started something that is obviously new or relatively new and unique in Australia. You might have looked at the international scene. Is what you're doing with the Club of United Business similar to what's happening in the rest of the world?
No, there are similarities, but no, it's not. And I'll tell you why. So I grew up a fair bit of my life in Paris. I was in Europe a lot. And in Europe, there's lots of members clubs, whether they be for creatives, for business people, for politicians, for schools, whatever it is. There's a lot of members clubs. And when I came back to Australia, I wanted to bring that concept to Australia. I loved business owners. That's who I idolized. So I wanted to serve them because I believe business is to serve people. So I wanted to serve these people that I idolize the most, the business owners. And I just quickly realized and learned that the only business communities that Australia kind of had, or at least the prominent ones, were kind of the old school men's clubs. So I very quickly realized, well, wait a second, why don't we just start a members club that isn't, I guess, either just for women or just for men? It's just for business owners, regardless of your sex or anything else. In regards to the question that how does Club differ from members clubs overseas, typical members clubs overseas, the model is very much a hospitality one. So you'll go, they have big buildings, they've got several restaurants and bars, and it's very much a hospitality focus. We are much more a service-based members club, and the service is a networking service. It's a relationship building service. I often say that our full-time job is making friends between business owners. And that's how we differ from the overseas clubs. And the reason that is obviously Australia has very different hospitality culture, very different wages and costs of everything. So I just felt like the hospitality model wasn't going to work. And also, it's not my industry, hospitality. I loved building relationships between business owners, and we are very good at that. And so that's what we focused on.
Stay with me, Daniel. We'll be back in a minute. My guest this morning is Daniel Hakim, CEO and founder of the Club of United Business. So business owners are your potential customers, and you created this new model of membership. What is your main criteria for people joining?
Well, they've got to be a business owner that's joining for the right reason, shares the club's values and culture, and also have the ability to bring value to the existing members. So have a level of, I guess, establishment or accomplishment in business.
So if you could sort of draw down some key characteristics of those members and the sort of people that are joining your club, the Club of United Business, what's their age, what's their gender, what's their business, what's their geography, what do they look like and where are they?
So we're quite youthful for a leadership community. Our members primarily will sit between 30 and 50 years of age. I think the median age is 41. They typically have young families. They're the founder of the business usually. They have a revenue of between 1 to 50 million per annum. So they're not the largest. These aren't the biggest businesses in the country, and they're not the smallest either. They're what I call, anyway, the next generation of big business. They're accomplished, successful business owners that have not yet achieved their ultimate ambition. You know, that they haven't made it to where they want to get in their head. So they're still very growth orientated, and they want to surround themselves with others on that path who share their passion for business and also their ambitions. Regarding industry, it's extremely diverse. I mean, technology is our largest sector in the club. Construction's third. We're strong with marketing, professional services, finance, but it's very industry agnostic. We've got people in the space industry, in this crypto stuff. I say crypto stuff because I have no idea, because I don't understand any of it. We've got people in beauty and all sorts of incredible things. One of the coolest things I'll tell you now about meeting business owners is all the weird things people make businesses out of. Like, I went to one member's office in Melbourne about 6 months ago, and he was a young guy, he's about 36, and he's built a huge business building water tanks. And I was like, how cool is that? How does a young guy get into building water tanks as a business? And he had this big factory with this big thing. I went to another guy, his office, he was building drones in there. I was just like, this is awesome. Business is really cool.
You sound to be really stimulated by it. And as you build the Club of United Business and you get to know your members pretty well and what challenges they're facing, what things they want to do, what are you finding are the services that they find the most valuable?
Well, it wouldn't be the question of the services. It'd be the question of what they're receiving from building relationships. So the main way for members to connect is a forum-based service that we call CORE, KOR, which stands for Knowledge, Opportunity, and Relationships, which are the three things that we say a network benefits from. But basically, to summarize CORE, every 4 months, members are placed in a group of 10 other accomplished business owners. The group has been selected by our relationship managers who have a deep understanding of each of the members and who they want to meet and why. That group of 10 meets 3 times throughout that 4-month period, each time with a specific purpose. And what you get by the end of that 4 months, the members have built very strong relationships with some of the fellow members in their group. And these relationships will serve them now in the immediate and also long into the future. So that's one way that we almost force members to meet new people every 4 months and a diverse group of people in different industries and whatnot. For members that want to meet people they have something in common with, we've got Cub communities, which are basically just sub-communities within the club. So they're industry, interest, and demographic groups. So, for example, I'm part of the young members community, which is for members under 35. There's a construction community, business women, crypto, marketing. There's a ton of communities. But basically, members can join communities and meet people that they have something in common with, whether that be an industry interest or even their demographic. And then finally, we actually have the Cub app, which is like a social media. It's like a private social media for our members. So they can search the entire network. They can message people directly, or they can message the network as a whole and ask for help or anything they need. So there's a whole range of things. But the answer is, what does that member need at that particular moment in time? And sometimes someone's just looking to meet others in their position because it's incredibly hard to meet other business owners. Like, where do you go? If there was no Cub, where would I go? Where would I go to meet people? And how do I know that they're vetted and they're really good people and they're great businesses? And it's next to impossible. So most members will come for that reason. The 3 things people want is relationships, knowledge, so the ability to grow as a leader and to learn about other people's experiences in businesses and industries so that they can upskill and get their thoughts and just share knowledge. And the final one is opportunities, people find investors, people find business partners, people, of course, exchange goods and services. We have no hard sales policy in the club, but by no means do we not want people working together. The whole point of having a great network is to have people you can trust to work with. So those three things are really the three primary things people will receive from having a great network and what they should definitely be getting from Cub.
So Mark Bouris is an investor in the Club of United Business. What does his involvement help you to do?
Oh, well, Mark helps me with a lot of things. I've known Mark now for many years, and he's been mentoring me and advising me regarding Cub in the background for years now. But Mark shares in my personal belief and mission, which is that I love business owners and that business owners are an incredibly important part of our society that contributes so much. And I think they should be celebrated a lot more. And I know Mark is on a mission to support Australian business. So him coming on board was a very natural fit. And me and him have become quite good friends and mentor-mentee relationship as well. Him coming on board gives me a lot of credibility, really. He's been watching Cub for a long time. He knows the ins and outs of it, and he knows that it's an incredibly strong community business, and it's a very needed service that is going to serve and help what I hope to be thousands more Australian business owners obtain the network they need to succeed. And the better they do, the better our country does. The more jobs are created, the more taxes are paid, the more goods and services are provided to society. And sorry, I'm going on a rant about it now, but you get where I'm going with it. No? Yeah.
It's a virtuous cycle, and I agree with you, Daniel.
So Mark's helping me accelerate helping business owners.
There you go. So I mentioned at the beginning your clubhouses in Sydney and Melbourne. What about Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Canberra, other parts of the country? Is there demand there to grow your club?
We have a huge demand from Brisbane, more so than any other city. Second to that is Parramatta, which is why Brisbane and Parramatta are the next two clubs that are going to be happening. But Brisbane is definitely our priority. Brisbane, in my projections, will open formally or officially in February of next year, but it very well may be open for the founding members by October 21st of this year. And the other thing we're doing to help more business owners connect with others in their position is we're going to be launching like a public version of the Cub app that I mentioned as well. That's going to enable business owners from around the country to be interconnected and to be supported by each other.
Well, Daniel, well done on the business story so far. That is the Club of United Business, and good luck into the future. Thank you very much for talking to Fear and Greed.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you having me on.
It's great to speak with you. And that was Daniel Hakim, CEO and founder of the Club of United Business. This is the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. Remember, you should get professional advice before making any investment decisions. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's most popular business podcast. I'm Adam Lang. Enjoy your day.